How are we doing today, guys? Good. So, challenging day nonetheless. I know because it's early signing day, people want to talk about signing, and we just got off the practice field. So, prepping for practice, prepping for a game, trying to finish this part of recruiting at least. There's still some other guys out there that we're obviously interested in, and maybe signing in the next few days, or some guys that'll wait till February. But we're really pleased with the class. Got a lot of good players. Got a lot of mid-year guys. Which I think is really important or helpful in their development. This is a product of a lot of hard work by a lot of people. I think our coaching staff did a really good job. But the people who support us in the university community do a great job, whether it's the academic university community, our folks in academics, all the people that work in athletic administration. All these people work really, really hard at helping us putting together a really, really good class. So, I'm excited about these players. I'm not going to go through them, individually or anything like that. But, some of them are here. I think we've got several guys that are already practicing. We've got a few more guys that may join us later. And, I think there's a total of maybe 19 mid-year guys or something like that. So that's probably a really good thing. From a practice standpoint, players had good energy and enthusiasm today, nice enough to go outside. So, the focus is still on, excellence is not free. You got to pay the price up front, and there's a price to pay for it. And working on fundamentals, finishing plays, pushing yourself through, focusing on blocking, tackling, taking care of the ball, a lot of things that we need to pay attention to detail to try to, get our momentum back, as a team, and our confidence back, so that everybody's playing together and we got great understanding of what we need to do to have a chance to play winning football when the game comes.
We'll start with Nick. Kelly.
Yeah, you've coached former players' sons before, but what is it like to be adding Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. when you coached his dad here as well?
Yeah, well, I think that's the first legacy for Alabama, not necessarily the first legacy for me. I coached Mark Ingram's dad, at Michigan State, but the first generational legacy player that played for us at Alabama and now has a son playing here. I think it's great. His dad's been a really good ambassador for the program, was a great player here, had a great NFL career. So you really appreciate that part of it, but I know how proud he is of his son, and what his son has been able to accomplish, and his son to have an opportunity to come to Alabama.
Kennington, in the middle here.
You mentioned that there are some freshmen on campus right now. What's that process been like, just getting them adjusted in the first few days, preparing for the playoffs, and how is this experience beneficial to them moving forward?
Well, I think just, exposure. Obviously, the first 3 days we were here, those guys have to go through acclimation period, so they got to be in shorts for so long, and helmets, and then shoulder pads, and so they haven't even been allowed to put full pads on yet. But I just think the whole experience of being in meetings, learning the stretch program, learning the weight training program, being in meetings, starting to learn the offense or the defense, being around the players on the field, seeing, how a college practice really, goes, and how they can contribute and how they can improve. And, a lot of them come up and, meet with the coaches so that they learn a little extra if they don't understand something in a meeting. So I think this total experience is a really positive thing for them in terms of their adjustment to, how they're going to transition into, school in January, and that whole process that we go through in the spring.
Charlie, all right.
Yeah, hey coach. You always talk about bringing in a good quarterback every cycle. Just what stands out about Julian's game?
Yeah, Julian is outstanding. Player. The ball comes out of his hand really nice. He's accurate. He's smart. He's had a great, high school career, and been one of the best players, most productive players in the country on a very consistent basis. And we like him a lot. And I think, as all players, I tell all players, you really got to focus on your development. That's the most important thing. What are you going to become? And I think you got the right mindset to do that.
Matt, middle.
What do you like about Bubba Hampton's game to bring him in?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Bubba's kind of a dog, man. He's one of those guys that's a great competitor, makes a lot of plays. Whatever he plays on offense, wherever he plays on the field, he doesn't come off the field very often. They had a very successful season this year. I know they had a disappointment in the playoffs, but this guy's a great competitor. He can do a lot of things, and we're really excited about having him.
In the back.
Coach, Kirby Smart shared that story before the SEC championship, how he finally got a text back from you. In an era full of social media, emphasis on personal branding, texting, how do you find ways to stay as such an elite recruiter?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. I mean, we try to be honest. We try to be upfront. We try to sell people on the fact that they can create value in their brand, that we're going to make a great investment in them here personally, academically, and athletically. And, there's a lot of guys that still buy into that. I think name, image, and likeness has, maybe spread, where guys go out because, some guys are interested in how much money they can make. And that's okay, but that's we're trying to invest in the players and their future so that they can create more value for their future. And there's a lot of players that still buy into that.
Up front with Chase.
The offense that Julian Saban ran at Carlsbad was mostly spread, but they ran some I formation and some old school stuff that put him under center. How rare is it in this day and age to get a quarterback out of high school who can come in on day one and be comfortable under center?
Yeah, well, we don't get under center a whole bunch, but it's something that, we want to be able to do, and we want the quarterback to be comfortable doing. So, anybody that's done that in high school or grew up doing it, it's a natural thing for them. So, I think it's good. I think it's a good thing that they're not just one-dimensional as a player, and then they're uncomfortable doing new things that you have to do, because I'm sure wherever anybody goes, there's going to be new things at every position that they have to learn to do and grow comfortable, learning. But that's one thing that's pretty huge for a quarterback.
Cody in the middle.
Wanted to ask you about Drake Kirkpatrick again, just kind of comparing how he was as a recruit compared to maybe his dad, if you can remember what it was like recruiting him.
They're different people, but they're both good people and great family. I don't like to make comparisons. I don't think that's fair, but Little Dre is a mature guy that kind of knows what he wants, and he's a very competitive guy, and his dad was, had a lot of those same characteristics, and that's why he became the kind of player that he was.
Okay, two more to finish up. Joe.
You get three offensive linemen that have signed in this class: Casey Poe, Joseph Inata, and William Sanders. You've often talked about not caring about stars or ratings. They were kind of rated a little bit lower, but what do you see in those three linemen, and what do you like about them adding to your team?
Yeah, well, we think they have a lot of potential. They're guys that, obviously, that's a developmental position, so those guys are, guys that we think have a lot of ability. We know a lot about them. We had them in camp. We're excited about having them here. We think they can develop into good prospects and good players. I still think we're kind of out there in the market looking for some more of those kind of guys, offensive linemen. So just from a number standpoint and from, a quality experience standpoint. So we're excited to have them, and we're still out there, looking to try to add some people at that position.
We'll finish up with the fall from Kennington.
Good amount of this class was committed in the summer. You've added some pieces this week. Kind of what's the staff's approach of keeping current guys committed, running the whole race with others that kind of set up strong finishes at the end?
Well, our focus right now is on the game, right? I mean, we're trying to get ready for a game. And I know we got to recruit, and we're trying to recruit, and there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of guys in the portal. There's still some players out there that we're recruiting that we think are outstanding players. So we're continuing to try to do the best job that we can in every regard, from coaching our players standpoint to, trying to get quality players to come here. But, the whole recruiting process, when we made an early signing date years ago, we said this would become the signing date. Well, it also just moved the recruiting calendar up like 6 months. All right, so players visit in the summertime, that's when most guys visit. I mean, we used to have tons of guys visit in January, we'll have very few guys visit in January. So the whole thing is kind of just pushed forward, so I don't know how to answer. There's just a lot of things happening right now that take our time and focus and attention. Recruiting's important, the game's important, our team's important. And we're trying to, manage our time the best that we can to do a good job in all those areas so that we can finish.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.